Welcome to Legal Bits and Bytes. Please excuse the backdrop. I hope it doesn't make you too nauseous. The first thing I'd like to talk about this week via our good friends at Quiz Law. They've got a series of videos out of, I think it's a jail in Arizona. Essentially, the cops are just dumping paraplegics and quadriplegics out of their wheelchairs and onto the floor, which made me think about the issue of the use of cameras in law enforcement. And I think that overall, it balances out good for the defendant or for those accused of crimes. Granted, occasionally it shows them engaging in illegal conduct, but more often than not, I think that it shows the police engaging in the somewhat egregious conduct that they have occasion to engage in, or alternatively, because the tape is running, it causes them to behave themselves as much as they're able. So I think overall, the use of cameras in law enforcement is a good thing. Next thing I'd like to discuss, Scott Greenfield over at Simple Justice raises the issue of the legal fee that's being racked up over in Senator Larry Craig's case, which is at this point over $213,000 for a violation. I believe it's a violation, perhaps a misdemeanor, of tapping his foot in a restroom. Now, Scott seems to think that's a bit exorbitant and indicates that he rarely receives fees that large. Scott, you're practicing in the wrong place. New York City, cost of living. You got to come to upstate because let me tell you, we're racking in the big bucks when it comes to misdemeanors, being retained privately and misdemeanors and violations. I tell you, you're in the wrong part of town. Either way, it is exorbitant, and the only thing I would add is Scott actually indicates that he thinks he can see how in some situations that might be a reasonable fee. For vacating a misdemeanor plea, I don't think so. I can't imagine how you could possibly rack up that much money no matter what your hourly fees are. It's ridiculous. Moving on, last thing I'd like to bring up is there's going to be a fabulous CLE here in Monroe County on Thursday, May 15th from 9 to 12. It's called Practicing Law in the 21st Century, Practice Management and Substantive Legal Resources on the Internet. How do I know it's going to be a great CLE? Because I'm on the panel, along with a number of New York bloggers. It's moderated by Charles and Clemma, who's a past president of the Monroe County Bar Association. Greg Bell, who's the editor at West, he's going to be on the panel, and he has a blog about jazz in Rochester. Matt Lerner of Goldberg Segala in Albany, who is the blogger at New York Civil Law Blog. He's going to be on it, as is Jim Mills, who is the Associate Dean for Legal Information Services at SUNY Buffalo Law School. He's also a law professor, and he has a blog and a podcast. We're going to be discussing, among other things, law office management tools, productivity tools, free legal research resources on the web, along with free substantive resources on the web, and the ethical issues arising from the uses of these types of technologies. So I highly recommend that you attend it. There's a link that you can follow below should you be interested. This has been Legal Bits and Bytes. Now go forth and bill.